What do you think of Gonzalez?
Okay. He had a couple extra days rest, and didn't have the same command. It was up with elevated some pitches, but the one that kind of stuck in the craw was the home run to Ross. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back. Ball was obviously carrying good today, but he hit that ball well. I'm just saying a lot of balls went further than you thought they would. But Miggy's held his own. We just didn't. I tell you, Kelly's really impressed with him over there, and even more so here. He's got really good stuff. That's going to be a good trade for them.
But Gonzo had some problems early on with giving up home runs, but he hadn't done that in a while, maybe 10 starts or so, multiple home runs. Is there, going into the playoffs, any concern?
No, I look at the finished product. That's the type of start that, if you can solve their pitcher a little bit, you'll take it. Probably have some, I thought Meek pitched effectively today. Fortunately, some balls that kind of found some gloves, and we just didn't mount much offensively. I think it's just a straight tribute to Kelly. He was carrying good stuff, and obviously a lot of pitches that could have been called balls for strikes today. Y'all were watching the same thing we were.
You guys ended up 50-31 at home, and for part of the season at least, that playing well at home was more of a struggle for you guys than playing well on the road. You kind of proud of the way you guys
Yeah, it's like, you try to trust, obviously your people and kind of the long haul of what you think will be, but it's always something, it's not from y'all, but just there's always something you can get a little better at, and you just try to let the season play out. And if I had a choice coming in that I could have a bird in the hand, it'd be playing well on the road and then take your chances at home. So it's been a good club, pretty consistent home and away. Not early on, like you said, it was a little bit of a challenge for us. But what happens a lot of times is teams come from other ballparks without naming them and coming to our place with a good atmosphere, a good ballpark. It's actually a pick-me-up for them. I mean, the dynamic of it at home, so most of the time we come back, it's about 3 or 4 hours sleep before the next game, and you try to get resettled in. So I don't know. That's a good excuse, but I'm glad it kind of worked out the way it normally does for teams that are competitive.
Delman Young doesn't get a lot of chances to play right field. Are you impressed with what you saw from
Delman's been able to, it may not always look as smooth as he works hard at it. When we talked initially and a couple times in spring about what we needed, and he said fine, just very bluntly, and he's worked hard at it. This isn't a guy that, he knows, where he is, and he's, I feel good that, we've been able to help him kind of reestablish himself as a pretty good player. He's hitting over 300 now, right? Pretty impressive. What's he got, about 250 at-bats? Probably close to 300 plate appearances. But you always feel good from my standpoint when you talk about this is what we need for this to happen, and he gives it to you. So, and he gives you a chance to kind of back up what you have been saying and thinking about in the offseason. You've said a lot about Delman. Delman's got a pretty good track record of hitting, and I think he knows what, I don't want to say the industry, but baseball is so quick to brand people, and I think he's environment and everything. We all got warts, and I think he's identified what people's perceptions of him are, and he's done a good job of really putting himself back on the baseball map. And I'm glad we could provide a place because we've reaped the benefits of it as much as he has.
But this is just the second time in Camden Yards history where you guys have closed out a home schedule and knew for sure that you were coming back.
Really, what was the other one?
1987 was the only other time.
How'd that finish?
What's that?
How'd they end up?
At the ALCS.
Okay.
How does that feel to know that that you're still alive and you're still coming back to this place?
Well, it's allowing us to do a lot of things that we normally wouldn't be able to do. I mean, looking at the schedule a month ago, to think that we didn't have to win a game in New York or Toronto, but we're going to certainly approach it that way because there's still some things out there for us. But we're trying to keep our priorities in order here, and that's getting Stevie back and getting Adam rested up some and getting Nicky back and getting our bullpen where they're at, as good as they can be, and trying to pass the load around a little bit. But I think that's the biggest benefit of it. And but you don't look for, with this group, I don't worry about they're meaningful games in their minds because it's a competition. There's a great pride in what they do. So I really don't worry about the next 7 days from that standpoint. I worry about a few other things we got coming up before the season's over.